this is how we test our units before they go out. So this is one of our serialization testing stations. So the operator will tell the software, which is tied into our cloud database, what model we're using, and we're going to do a 26400 AC, just like the one you had. So after that's done, he sets up the board rev and some other information and starts the agent. And then up here is a new switch, and he's just going to connect it up, and the unit starts to boot up there, as you see in the left screen. Like I said, this is done on every single unit. This is the only way you can serialize them. Now what he's doing now is he's actually scanning the serial numbers of the board and the power supplies that are in the unit. And we're waiting for the unit to boot. And normally an operator would bounce between two different stations, so there's a testing station directly behind me. Okay, so first thing it did, by the way, if you notice down there on the screen, is it ran through a cable diagnostics. So it was looking for any shorts software wise that it could pick up. Now if you notice, the screen is asking if all the lights are green. So what it did was it turned 24 volt PoE on. Now we normally don't test that because we know that's true, but what we'll do here is we do have the ability, we have 2 volt-ohm meters, and we can connect this up, push that cable in there, and then you look up there and you can see 27.2. Now these are cheap meters, so the only thing we're really looking for is there actually voltage on that pair? And so there is, you know, it says 27, but it's like I said, cheap meters. It's just there to make sure that the MOSFET is on. But so at this point in the testing procedure, all the points have the 24V option turned on. And so then the operator down here will say, yep, okay. And then the switch will turn on the VH. And then it'll cycle through and turn on the 48V. And again, down here it's asking you if all the red LEDs are on. So what it did was it turned on the VH, but we already know that the LED worked, was the only reason it paused. During the process, it wants to turn it on. So now if you go up here, you'll see that you do have power on the one pair, which is what 48V does. So you pull that out and it goes to 0. So then the operator says, yep, okay. All the red LED lights. Now you see the blinking, which is 48VH, and if we would have checked that real quick, you'd have noticed there was power on both sides. And then it comes down now, and it wants to manually test each port for a gigabit link. And believe it or not, the operator will test 2 ports at a time to make sure that the unit is getting 1 gig links on every port. That would indicate that there is absolutely no shorts, because if there was a short, you wouldn't be able to achieve a 1 gig link, because 1 gig requires all 4 pair. So as you see, as he operates through here, so now what the software has determined is that all 24 ports achieved a 1 gig link, and it passed. So then it assigned the MAC address to the unit. That's the only way you can get a MAC address. That's the only way you can serialize a unit. So as you see here, it printed out that little serial number, which gets affixed to the bottom of the unit, and then that's the label here that will go onto the box once the unit is finally assembled. But if it had failed any of these tests, it tested the fans, it did spin-ups on the fans, it checked all 24 port MOSFETs to make sure that the 24 Vs came on, the 24 VHs came on, the 48 Vs came on, the 48 VHs, and we manually connected each Ethernet port, achieved a 1 gig connection and passed data to make sure that each port functions. That would mean that it is impossible at this point for any of these transformers to be bad. All of these transformers and the ones on the bottom have to be good. The power supply has to be good. The fans are tested. The Ethernet links are tested. The serial COM port is tested because you can't serialize without the serial COM port. Everything on this unit has been manually tested and passed. And then after this, the unit will be it. So you can see those are units that are going to be serialized and tested. Those units over there in the pink bags, they've already been tested, serialized, and that label that you saw printed out is now here, and that will get affixed to the outside of the box when the crew comes in the mornings to box these. But when the units ship from our facility, everything is manually tested. It is not possible for a switch to come out of here with an Ethernet short in it. It is not possible.